Hello and welcome to Tech Chat Tuesday. My name is Earl Kelly, founder of EK3 Technologies in Jacksonville, Florida. In today's episode, we're going to talk about cloud computing. What is it? What it can do, what you can do to leverage cloud computing for your business, and how you can put the cloud to work for you. Simply put, cloud computing is computing based on the internet. Where in the past you could run an application or program from software that was loaded on your computer or on a server in your office, cloud computing actually allows you to access all of that infrastructure and all of those types of devices and applications through the internet. You're probably already familiar with cloud computing. When you update your Facebook status or you're uploading something to Dropbox or updating Twitter, or even now when I post this video, we're all using cloud computing. You're checking your bank balance, you're using cloud computing. Chances are that you rely on cloud computing for just about everything that you do on a daily basis. If you're a small business, you're probably using some form of cloud computing for your email server. Maybe you're using Office 365. Maybe you're using GoDaddy. All of those are examples of cloud computing. So cloud computing is very fast becoming the new normal in business. By the end of the year 2015, it's estimated that 90% of all businesses in the United States will be using at least one cloud service. So why are so many of your peers moving into the cloud? So it would be because the cloud increases efficiency. It also helps improve their cash flow and offers a bunch of different benefits, all of which we're going to check out today. So let's talk about the word cloud. I feel like that word cloud is thrown around so much for so many different things that I believe the word actually scares a lot of small business owners. So let's talk about what the cloud is in a nutshell. So when I talk to you about cloud, and in this presentation we're going to talk about moving your infrastructure to the cloud. The cloud is simply a location that is available via the internet to put infrastructure, etc. In our in our cloud environment, that being EK3's cloud environment, we have multiple servers that are set up, that are running different software that allows you to use our cloud environment, and that those servers, are housed in a hardened environment that is protected from hurricanes, tornadoes, natural disasters. It's got dual redundancy. It's really just a place where we've spent all the money on infrastructure that you would need to spend to set up a world-class environment in your location. But we've set that up outside of your location, and we're allowing you to connect to it through the internet. So when we talk about cloud, we're actually talking about a virtual world, if you will, outside of your office that you will connect to. So what does that do for you? Well, first of all, cloud-based services provide you with flexibility. They are ideal for small business because they allow you to grow or shrink depending on your volume. So let's say that you needed a server for email, or perhaps you need a server for some sort of customer-facing application that you might have. You could purchase a server. You could put that server in your office. You could run it from your office, just in the little closet where most of the servers are that we see today. But what happens when you either didn't buy enough server or you bought too much server? So the servers are like a car. The minute that you purchase them, they're going to start depreciating. So with cloud computing, it allows you to purchase exactly what you need for that moment. So let's say that you purchase a portion of our cloud, and then in 2 months you need more server. Instead of purchasing a different server or reconfiguring your entire environment, you simply add on to what you have. And then if 2 months down the road from that, you have you need less server, you actually just subtract what you have. So it's a more fluid design, so designed for your business and your changing needs. So it's really designed around the needs of your business. It's also great for disaster recovery. When we talk about disaster recovery, a lot of times we talk about hurricanes. And many people here in Florida that I speak to aren't really worried about hurricanes. They've been through Ivan, they've been through Matthew. And the discussion that they had was, well, we just picked up the server and we took it with us. Or we're running backups daily and we're good to go. With cloud computing and disaster recovery, you have the option to have your servers running 24/7. Let's say you're an insurance agency and you need to be available shortly after that disaster for your customers. With cloud computing, you can actually have all of your systems continue to run during the storm, have people able to access the system shortly after the storm, maybe not in this area. For instance, you might have a customer, we had a customer that was able to access their systems in Atlanta when Ivan was on the way. So once Ivan moved out, they were in Atlanta. They were processing claims over the phone for all of their customers. So that's one of the things that cloud computing can do for you. Another thing that cloud computing can do for you in disaster recovery, and when people talk about disaster recovery, they like to talk about hurricanes, especially in Florida. But in my personal opinion, in the United States, what we really need to worry about is fire. Fire is the one disaster that keeps me up at night. And the only reason I have that is because I have experienced fire in my personal life. I was prepared for a hurricane. I was prepared for a tornado. I was prepared for everything. I was not prepared for a fire. Fire strikes quickly and destroys everything. So if you went home tonight, even though you had a backup, and if you went home tonight and your building burned down overnight, which does happen, would you be able to get back up and running the next day? What would it cost for you to get back up and running the next day? If you were using cloud computing, you could simply start taking calls from the nearest Starbucks and you would have all of your information available. If you had a server that was in your closet, you would have to wait for a server to be purchased or perhaps borrow a server for someone. You would have to set software back up from bare metal, which is a time-consuming process. And then you would have to start reloading your data. I can tell you now that it would probably take about a day, depending on how complex your environment is. It would probably take at least a day to set the servers back up, but it may also take about 2 weeks to get a server from scratch, especially if you have special requirements on your server. So in the disaster recovery area, having cloud computing in your small business is the best option for you. You also get automatic software updates. So how do you make sure that the server that you purchased in the closet is running 24/7? Well, if you have cloud computing and you're allowing us to or manage that server, then you don't have to worry about that. That is our job. We have and with any cloud service, not just us, we have agreements that say your server and your services will be up X amount of time per day. If not, then you can, depending on the contract, it's designed that you can either subtract or there's penalties involved. But having that guarantee of service availability and is something that a lot of people like. You don't have that guarantee if you just have a server in the closet. You hope that when you come in the next day, the server is running. If it's not running, you've lost a lot of productivity, and you have to call the IT guy who needs to come out. It may take him 2 hours to come out. You may get a really great IT guy, and he's right next door. But again, that's time. all that time that's wasted, all of your employees are sitting there, they're not able to get on to certain things, and you want to make sure that your server is running constantly. So let's talk about purchasing a server. So when you purchase a server, you have a lot of capital expenditure up front. So CapEx cost is sometimes good, sometimes bad, depending on what the cash flow looks like in your business. In my business, a lot of times I see people at the end of the year that will make a CapEx expense because they need to put money somewhere. But with cloud computing, you actually don't have a capital expenditure. The service, and that's what it's called. It's actually called a service. So the cloud service is simply a monthly fee that you would pay that provides all of the security that you would need, all of the peace of mind that you would need every month to make sure that your business is up and running. So you could spend $5,000 to $6,000 on a server and all the things that are required to go into that. That's a large capital expense that comes out. But with cloud computing, that's not a capital expense that you need to make. You simply pay per month or per quarter, however you have it set up, for your cloud service, and then that fluctuates. Again, if you made that CapEx expense for $5,000 and you underestimated the amount of traffic that was going to be on that server, maybe you have a SQL server, maybe you have an Exchange server, and now you need to expand, you either have to purchase a new server or purchase an additional server and hope that it works with the server that you purchased. With cloud computing, you don't have to do that. You simply say, I need more space, I need more processing, I need more memory. It's added to your existing service. It can be done in a matter of moments. I've been able to add memory and processing power to a client's server environment, and it takes about 5 minutes total in order to increase the speed at which they're processing. And that's something you can't do if you've made a large capital expenditure and you need more you need more server power. So another bonus to the cloud environment is increased collaboration. So with all of these, with cloud computing, with everything in the cloud and all of your employees able to access it from anywhere, okay, you can give different people access to different pieces of your environment. We have several clients that are set up that allow just one piece of software out to a vendor that is doing work for them, or a consultant that's doing work for them. And that instead of giving them access to everything, they have access to one piece of their environment, the only piece of their environment they need. That provides security, but it also provides better collaboration, because then they're able to have real-time conversations with that particular individual while they're on the phone, or maybe they're on Skype or some sort of web meeting, right? So you can have, it creates increased collaboration. You also can work from anywhere. So if you're not into working from home, it's okay. Some people are and some people aren't. I'm in IT. I don't get into that's an HR issue. I don't really get into that. But if you're in the cloud, you have the option to work from home. You can work from anywhere you have the internet connection. That could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. It could be a blessing and a curse. You can be at a hotel in Seattle and need to access information in the office for a meeting tomorrow. You can pull up your cloud environment, and you'll be able to access all the documents you need and move forward. So that's a good thing about cloud computing. You can also set up cloud computing if you so incline to only allow access from your office. And I think that's a misnomer that a lot of people don't understand. And so I want to make that clear. With cloud computing, if you only want to allow people in your office to connect to your environment from your office, you actually can. You can have your service provider whether it be us or another service provider, you can actually have them restrict what addresses traffic comes from to your cloud environment. So only the people who are at your office can access your cloud environment. You can even get more granular than that, and you can say, okay, only people with this IP address can access my environment. So maybe you have one person, maybe you're the principal of the agency or the owner of the company, and you want to be able to access your information from home, but not let all of your other employees. You can do that as well. So, but with millennials entering the workforce, they're already here. Working from home is a benefit that they enjoy. So you can provide that to your employees. There was a study that reported that 42% of workers would actually swap a portion of their pay for the ability to telecommute. So on average, they'd be willing to take about a 6% pay cut. So that might be something, if based on that, you might actually be able to pay for cloud computing based on those pay cuts. So with cloud computing, you also have better document control. So the more employees and partners that collaborate on your documents, the greater the need for watertight document control. So before the cloud, workers had to send files back and forth via emails, and so they could be worked on by one user at a time, and you end up with a bunch of messy, conflicted documents, and nobody knows what's happening. So there are some cloud programs that are out there that we can design and set up for you that allow for collaboration amongst everyone. Everyone is working on the same document. They can actually merge their changes together so that you don't have this person with this version, you don't have this person with that version, etc. I've been in that situation where there are 15 different versions of an Excel spreadsheet going around, and we're not sure which one is the correct version. So document control and some cloud computing options is a great benefit as well. And finally, security. Security is a great concern with cloud computing. And when I say security, I'm talking about physical devices. So there's a couple of issues that come up when we talk about physical machines, that being desktops, laptops, etc. So laptops are a billion-dollar business problem. So you have potentially a greater loss than expensive piece of equipment is actually the loss of the data that's on that equipment. So if you have a salesman and he has a laptop and he has all of his sales information on his laptop, maybe he has the latest proposal that you're giving over in Dallas, or maybe he has all of the pricing sheets that are proprietary for you, and he's lost his laptop. Well, he's also lost all of that information, and that information is now out in the wild, and that can be problematic. There have been many cases, if you're a medical environment and you're under HIPAA and high-tech regulations, there are many documented breaches that you can find out on the web where a list of patients and patient social security numbers was actually on somebody's laptop, and that laptop was either lost or stolen, and they were required to report that to Health and Human Services. So by having your information in the cloud, you can give out laptops that have very little information on them. They also have very little software on them. Okay, maybe you only give out a laptop with Microsoft Windows 10 and Internet Explorer. Maybe you only give out a laptop with, you can give out a Chromebook, and maybe you can connect. There's many different things to actually reduce the amount of cost in the connection to your cloud environment. But the benefit to that is not only the reduction in cost, but the benefit is that that information is in the cloud. So whether or not that laptop is lost, you simply replace the laptop and the information is still in the cloud and not on the laptop. And that's huge when it comes to security, especially if you're involved in HIPAA and high tech, or if you're in the banking industry. Having that information where you know it's at is going to give you not only a peace of mind, it's going to give you a competitive edge, and it's also going to keep you out of the news. So Um, and finally, I will say that if you're worried about the environment, cloud computing is environmentally friendly. So while we don't really point out, I guess, the environmental benefits of being cloud based, I can tell you that it is greater to have one server or one cloud, if you will, with 10 different servers on it than to have 10 different servers using up electricity, using up uh, air, using up natural resources to make the device. All of that can be combined, and once we put it into a cloud-based environment, you're actually consolidating all of that equipment, all of that metal, all of the gold, all of the silver, everything that's in all of those devices, all of the greenhouse gases that are given out to make all of those devices, because they've already been made. We're simply moving them into the cloud, and we're reducing the amount of actual hardware that is sitting out there. So if you haven't moved to the cloud yet, any of the 10 benefits that I talked about should be enough to convince you to move to the cloud. But if you're thinking about moving to the cloud, or you're still trepidatious about moving to the cloud, I would be more than happy to talk with you, and I would like to talk with you, and let's see if we can help you out and build a solution for your company and your business. Again, as always, you can contact us at one of our support numbers, either which will be on the screen right here. We have both Jacksonville and Tampa, or you can always email us at support at ek3tech.com. I thank you very much for joining us for this Tech Chat Tuesday. I hope you have a great week, and don't forget to tune in next week right here from Jacksonville, Florida.